Last time we saw the Indianapolis Colts play on a Saturday in December, it brought back a lot of PTSD for this Falcons fan right here with our former quarterback. So hopefully for the Colts fans, there is a more positive outcome, and the first half and the second half are more consistent. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go look at last year's Minnesota Vikings Colts games, and that's probably more for the Steelers reference there. Colts fans, I'm sure, probably have suppressed that memory, just like how I've suppressed the 2016 Super Bowl. But Ryan, this game here, Pittsburgh Steelers versus Indianapolis. It's a fun slate of games on the Week 15 for Saturday. One of the three games on Saturday in Week 15 here. Huge matchup here. Both teams are 7-6. Kenny Pickett will not be playing. Mitch Trubisky will be the starting quarterback for, potentially. I will say Mason Rudolph, potentially. That will be a story that we'll have to keep watching here. Last time we saw these Steelers play, they lost to the New England Patriots here, which, Ryan, I would say you're probably rooting very heavily for the Steelers.
I was. Very much so. That was definitely offsides on Jelani Tavai. I will fully admit that. I was hoping that they would have gotten it right, to be honest.
Horrible call. Horrible call.
Oh, yeah. But with that being said, the Steelers did not deserve to win that game. They looked horrible. I don't know what it was about. Maybe it was just a short week or what, but they did not look good. We had kind of talked a little bit about it last week. Unfortunately, we lost the recording to the Thursday night preview that we were going to do last week, and so that video was never published. But I think if you look at a lot of Pittsburgh's wins, the 26-22 win against the Cleveland Browns in week 2, 2 defensive touchdowns and a large, 80-yard touchdown pass to George Pickens, resulted in 21 of those 26 points. The next week, 23-18 against the Raiders, was just a horribly played Thursday night football game. If I remember right, they should not have beat the Ravens in week 5. The Rams game was the Kenny Pickett QB sneak that he didn't actually get, but the Rams didn't have any challenges left. So they couldn't challenge the quarterback sneak, and they were able to sneak out of there with a win as well. They hit Tennessee and Green Bay, I think, at good times, still only winning by 4 points in each of those matchups, putting up 20 and 23 points. And then the Bengals win, was that the Joe Burrow injury?
Game? That was Jake Browning's first game.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, well, Joe Burrow got hurt, then Jake Browning was thrust into the lineup. And this offense just has never found a rhythm. They even, I want to say the 13-10 loss, right, was the 400-yard game, the 400-yard offensive game, or was that the Bengals game?
That was the Bengals game. That was the Bengals game. Yeah, because it was Matt Canada got fired right before that.
That's right. That's right.
Before that game, and then they took off for 400 yards and then got a win. So
yeah, and for me that was just it's still they put up 400 yards but only 16 points. So it didn't correlate to anything positive, and that's just kind of how I feel about the Steelers team, that I think they've kind of lucked into 4 or 5 of their 7 wins, and other than that, they have not been a good team consistently in almost all phases.
Yeah, like their defense, and even statistically, I'll say their defense isn't that great statistically. Like if you're looking at yards allowed overall. But that being said, though, I still feel that they're one of the top defenses in the league. But one of the things, though, that we'll need to watch, TJ Watt is in the concussion protocol. And also, I'm very curious to see how the league handles that. Very controversial on how it looked like he had a concussion in the game. There's some even other sideline footage as well of would have given cause on hey, something's wrong with this guy, yet he kept playing. So I'm curious if there's any potential league discipline that comes down, just as a thought. Just as a thought, come from this, but overall, his status needs to be monitored, and I hope he is healthy. Here soon, because it's always fun to watch him play. But it also looks like Alex Highsmith is hurt right now.
Got banged up as well.
He got banged up, so we'll have to see. But in general, though, this defense is not horrible overall. I still think one of the better ones in the league, and they're able to get after the quarterback. The thing is here, it just offensively, though, I just think this whole game for the Steelers is just a mismatch as a whole. I think they're going up against a team with a good offensive line and good weapons, and I think just a consistent quarterback. Gardner Minshew, consistent might not be the right word, because he can definitely has been turnover prone before. But
he's boomer bust in my opinion. He doesn't have a lot of like the consistent
the exact opposite of consistent.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of like all right, well, I'll just take the 10-yard crosser. He's like, all right, I'll try the 40-yard bomb. And sometimes he hits Pittman for it. And other times he it gets picked. Like, it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So,
and then I will say offensively, they seem to have found more of a consistent shrine, especially him and Pittman. But then Josh Downs has been a great addition to this team. Even with Jonathan Taylor out, I don't think they've missed too much of a beat with Zach Moss as running back. They did run into a big buzzsaw today in Jake Browning and that Cincinnati Bengals defense. Well, Jake Browning is obviously the quarterback, but then that Cincinnati Bengals defense definitely held their own. But they're also one of the better defenses in the league as well, in my opinion. So,
not statistically, but just I think you look at the product that they've put on the field, and they've shown up when they need to.
I think it's similar, honestly, you could say with the Steelers, is that Bengals defense is just where they're good at. Like, they definitely bend a lot, give up a lot of yards, but at the same time, though, I think it is still tough to score against them.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, this Steelers offense, with whoever is going to be the quarterback, is going to be going up against an above average Colts defense that can also get after the quarterback as well here. And it's just going to be tough, I think, for the Steelers to consistently keep generating offense. But at the same time, though, we say that they're still able to, in the fourth quarter, they're able to put themselves in positions to have the opportunity to win the game, or they are leading and then they end up winning the game. That's why they're 7-6. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Steelers play overall. For the Colts, from my standpoint, is on paper, I think you are the better team when we want to talk about like explosiveness plays and the ability to move the ball down the field. You have consistently shown that you're able to do that. I think just don't beat yourself, and just play a solid 60 minutes. And there's no reason why I think that they couldn't pull out a victory here on Saturday. So it's going to be a great game. Let's get into our predictions, though, here. But before we do that, if you have not already, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we have one final goal for the year, and that is to get to 2,333 subscribers. That is unique and an odd number. If you're wondering why that number specifically, if we hit that number, we would have gotten 2,000 subscribers within this calendar year if we hit that number by New Year's Eve or by New Year's Day. So be sure to like, subscribe, help us reach our goal. And Ryan, who do you have winning this game and why?
I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. I did not like what I saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers in any facet of the game against the New England Patriots, who, in my opinion, are just a lesser version of the Colts this year. I think the Colts, this defense, they have pretty good corners. New England right now, their best corner is J.C. Jackson, maybe Jonathan Jones. And then I think you look at the rush, the pass rush for these teams. DeForest Buckner is better than anybody that the Patriots have. They have a good rotation of edge rushers that come in and generate a good bit of pressure. And then I think offensively, the Patriots, especially in the first half, were able to put up 21 points on this Steelers defense. And I know Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt got banged up in like almost in the first 10 plays. I think both of them left the field with an injury and then were like kind of rotated back in slowly. But Patriots were kind of able to methodically move the ball down the field. And I think you're right. I think the game plan for the Colts, come in, run the ball. They'll be able to move that defensive line of the Steelers, hit play action passes off of that, get the ball out to Zach Moss. I don't think Jonathan Taylor will be playing in this. I think he's on IR.
He might be coming back on Christmas Eve against the Falcons, the game that we're going to.
Okay. And so, like, it'll be really interesting, I think, to watch. However, I just think the Colts, they'll probably end up winning by 10 or more points. It's probably like a 31, maybe 21. That might be giving the Steelers offense too much credit there, but 31-21.
Well, I will say, I think that won't be giving the Steelers defense enough credit either. And so I am also going to go with the Colts here, but I think it will be much more of a grinded out type game. I think it is going to be a 17-13 type game because I think the Colts will be able to find their opportunities, move the ball down the field, but then at the same time, the Steelers, I just don't feel like they're going to be able to consistently move the ball against the Colts. Partly because the Colts defense, I think, is solid, but also the Steelers offense is not good. at all. So going to go with the Colts on this one here. But it's going to be a very unique game. Can't believe it. 6 teams in the AFC with 4 weeks left to go that are all 7-6.
Yeah,
that's absolutely insane.
They'll be fighting it out. I think in week 18, there'll probably be 4 teams that are still in contention that are not like 8, 9, 10, and 11. Will probably all be competing for that 7 spot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. This AFC race is extremely close, and this is a really big game, a really big tiebreaker for those teams. Bless you. But let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It helped Tyler and I reach that goal of 2,333 subscribers. We would really appreciate that. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Is it going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is it going to be the Indianapolis Colts? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.